Assalamu alaikum and hello to everyone, my fellow non Muslims and Muslims. Today I'm going to share with you some of my insights about this upcoming day called International Women's Day, the struggle for women's rights and everything, and what Islam or Muslims have to say about it, or at least I as a Muslim have to say about it. Now, if you look back in the history, the women rights movements started about 100 years ago when in the Western countries, especially in America, as we live here, around 1916 through 1920, women for the first time could vote. In this country and in most of the Western world, women could not inherit, could not own property, could not have a bank account, could not even go to work in most cases, and could not even go to school in a lot of places. In a lot of places, they could not even go to school. We have seen, I'm sure you know, we have seen pictures of girls, young girls, and women dragged out from the schools where they were not allowed to be in. So this is the struggle that the Western world was going through. I call it the pre-feminism movement. And then feminist movement started where this feminism as a new ism in the literature was introduced. The women's studies, gender studies, a lot happened. Now, I'm just quickly going through a quick synopsis of 100 years. Of course, there were now voting rights. There were right to study, right to go to college, right to, again, I'm talking all about the non-Muslim world, what the non-Muslim world was going through, or most of the Western world, in other words. Now, when these rights were already there, but at the same time, there was domestic violence, there was a lot of other problems that were not being addressed. So our sisters in humanity, our sisters, girls, women, there were protests and all that. Following after civil rights movement in America, there was a feminist movement, or so to speak. This is where the literature also adopted this new genre of studies that you saw called feminism or feminist studies. Now, in there, the focus was again sort of a competitive message that why is it that whatever women are supposed to do or want to do, they can't do just because this role is not for you? Why couldn't we do everything that a man can do, right? So this was the focus of early feminism. However, now in the I'm talking about strictly in the academic language, in the postmodern feminism, there's now a postmodern feminism in literature that's being taught and discussed in the academia. There is now a talk by some of the thinkers that, well, isn't it that we're asking too much from women? Actually, not only that they have taken upon a lot of those roles that men were also taking, but at the same time, there's a lot of roles that are still expected only from a female. Now, here comes Islam in the picture. Just so you know, when the feminist movement originally started, from then until today, in this 100 years struggle, Islam always had a stance that basically suffices what the postmodernists are saying. The postmodern movement that is claiming that there is a pay gap, there is too much demand from female. For instance, a female professor versus a male professor, that it is somehow expected that she would be doing lots of extra work. And then you go to public schools. I mean, most of the teachers are female. There's fewer male teachers in education. Now, so postmodernists are saying that's too much. Aren't we demanding so much? Isn't society expecting too much from our sisters, from women? Well, Islam had the same thing. In fact, we had a guest of some feminist scholars that were visiting America. There's a program sort of sponsored by this U.S. State's Department. So they came and they were mentioning their struggles and this and that. So I just sort of in a humorous way, I made a remark. I said, ladies, I wish you joined our camp. Our camp already said that God Almighty says in the Quran, La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha. God does not place a burden on a soul more than what it could bear. God already says that don't compete against one another, collaborate, cooperate, work together for the betterment of the society. We were already saying that. I wish you joined us. So when I said that, everybody laughed. It just happened in such a way that she was talking, and then all of a sudden I had that moment of like 10 seconds. I said, well, I wish you joined us, because we've been saying that for not just last 100 years. When you started this movement, it was already there from the beginning, from the day God Almighty revealed this message in this Quran. You have a Quran bookshelf. Most of the Qurans you can see in the back. So everybody started laughing, like, yeah, you know. So that's what my point is, that Islam has ensured so many rights, so many guarantees and protections, that among, even if you look at religion to religion, if you compare just simply religious beliefs among so many different world religions, you'd be amazed that Islam has what no one has promised or even delivered, for that matter. Muslim women were leading businesses, some of the richest millionaires, and according to the conversions, if you do apply the monetary values of today, convert that, it's billionaires were actually some of the princesses and women who were merchants and all that. They were teachers, they were scholars, they were professors. The only difference is that we were not competing against one another. That's why there was an equilibrium in the Islamic society. Travels to India, one of the, I think, French traveler or a British traveler wrote this book, and he was shocked that there were a huge fleet of ships that were all merchant ships, and they were all owned by one of the royal female. He said, I was shocked that Europe doesn't even have a concept of that. Europe had nothing. You could not own, you could not inherit. So Islam already had that. Now I'm not saying that the Muslim societies or Muslim communities do not have problem. Yes, we do. But they are problems of our own. Sometimes Muslims in the West, when they are conflating in the Islam's sort of a non-individualistic approach. Islam does focus on individual, but also Islamic societies are not individualistic societies. The whole family unit is important. When I put my family ahead of me, this is when you will notice that the divorce rates are lower. You would notice that there's lesser family conflicts. Oh, you and I have an argument, but well, let's not do it because we have kids, So when you look at family as a unit, then you become a little selfless. So it's less selfish, more selfless model that actually protects families, and for the greater good, it protects communities and makes them strong. However, the Muslims living in the West now, they are also facing similar challenges, because some of the models they're adopting from outside, and they're thinking, if it has worked for other people in the society, it should work for us too. That's not the case. So this is my message for the Muslim community as well, that our Muslim community, hang on to your Islamic values, hang on to your traditional values, and that it is these values that have attracted not just few, hundreds and thousands and millions of females, women who have come to Islam. In fact, despite all the negativity, despite all the propaganda and the bad things, negativity that is being said about Muslims all across, sometime even in the books, sometime by some of the media pundits or gurus or whatever you want to call them, regardless of all of that, despite all of that, the highest number of people coming into Islam are actually women. They find Islam giving them more honor, giving them more respect as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter, as a wife, as an integral nucleus of the family. They realize that Muslims are very respectful toward women. There's chivalry that is still alive in the Muslim communities. So all of this actually is for the betterment of the society. So therefore, I humbly urge our Muslim men and women to hang on to those Islamic values. And if you do, you will have lesser problems. You will have lesser domestic violence. Look, domestic violence is not just an issue of a Muslim community living in the West or the East. No, it's a global problem. It's sadly a global problem. Every community is facing that. And especially during the pandemic, it has brought things out on a much worser scale. Things got worse. Divorce rates shooted up, skyrocketed. However, relatively among Muslim communities, it was still lesser, thankfully. Hang on to those good aspects of your connectedness and being united as good families, because good families will make a good community, and good community will make a good society. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much.